It might have been on sale since 1964 and now into its 6th generation, but here in Blighty we've been sending admiring glances over the pond to our American cousins for some 50 odd years, wishing it would land on our shores. And it finally has. The Ford Mustang. Thankfully, Ford aren't just satisfied with a token gesture after their 50-year hiatus. We've got a range and different body styles to choose from. So you can get this 2-door fastback or a 2-door convertible with a fabric retractable roof. There's also 2 engines, a 2.3 litre Ecoboost petrol and a range-topping 5 litre V8. And essentially those engines create the trim level. So the Ecoboost, the 5 litre V8, which is called GT, and there's a GT Shadow Edition. Prices kick off at £33,645, whilst we're testing the range-topping GT with the 5 litre V8 engine, which costs £39,595. Both engines come with a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, while a 6-speed automatic is available as an option. Whilst this is the first time we've had the Mustang in the UK, it's worth knowing that it is the 6th generation and it has improved over the last model. It's 28% stiffer, and now there's a lot more aluminium used in its construction, including the bonnet, front wing, suspension and gearbox. Our test cars finish in standard grabber blue, which makes it look absolutely stunning. It's also got the contrasting black roof, which costs £500. But let's get inside, have a look and get this thing on the road. In here there are some very pleasant touches. So you get the chrome trim across the dash with the 3 round dials. There's an 8-inch Sync 3 infotainment system with DAB radio, Bluetooth and smartphone connectivity. The Mustang gets keyless entry and a stop-start button, and these toggles down here can change your driving mode and steering resistance, but we'll go on to that more on the road. There's dual zone climate control, these black electric seats, and some leather trim surround, but you can really tell where the money's been saved. High up there's harder plastics which are a little bit wobbly, but then you get a nice leather infill with some contrasting stitching, a leather top up here, and then some of this again starts to feel a little bit plasticky, and that center console really does shake a bit. But it's a good place to be. The power electric seats have a great range of adjustment, so most should be able to find a comfortable sitting position. They only power slide and adjust height, whilst there's a manual lever for the backrest, but there's also electrically operated lumbar support. In the lowest sitting position, I'm actually feeling quite high up, but I can see those curves down the bonnet, which is a lovely view. I've got decent headroom, but I'd say if you're probably over 6'2", 6'3", you might start to struggle a bit. There's a lever down the right hand side to release the steering wheel reach and tilt adjustment, and that's not too bad at all. So I do think most people will be able to get comfortable in here. Where you won't get comfortable though is in the back. Having had a small 7-year-old in here earlier, he just had no room at all. So if 7-year-old's going to struggle to fit, then they're nigh on useless. Storage in here isn't fantastic. There's a small door bin. I've got a little tray that pushes out to the side. The central bin is decent enough with a USB connector, a couple of cup holders in the middle and a smallish glove box, but that's about it. However, the boot is a really good size with 408 litres of capacity. It's got quite a high lip and the opening's not the largest, whether at the front or dropping in down the top, but it does have a flat floor. There aren't any bag hooks, but there's a few anchor points and there's no electric power point in there. But the most important button in here is flashing away saying engine start stop, and it's got a real growl when it starts. Put the auto into drive and it's time to go. Climbing into the Mustang, you're greeted by these sumptuous armchairs. They are super padded, very Americanistic. Just sit there and cover long distances in great comfort. They're also reasonably supportive, so you can have a little bit of sporting fun without sliding off your perch. Under that long sculptured bonnet in front of me is a 4,951cc quad cam 32 valve petrol V8 engine. It develops 410 brake horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to get this stallion from standstill to 62 miles an hour in just 4.8 seconds. It'll return 23.5 miles to the gallon on an official combined cycle and emits 281 grams per kilometre of CO2. However, on our test route, we returned just 16.5 miles to the gallon from this V8 gas guzzler. As you will probably expect, performance in this thing is swift. It really does get a move on, but that's on the proviso you've got enough traction, because the rear wheels will spin up at a moment's notice. Now, it's controllable, so it's not too scary, but it does mean you're going a little bit fishtaily rather than in a straight line ahead. Get it pinned down to the road and it absolutely flies. It's really entertaining, it's really quick, and in the right gear at the right time is very responsive. However, in the wrong gear, in auto mode, it just makes a lovely purring noise rather than sending you shooting down the road. Leave the gearbox to its own devices and it's pretty decent, just shifting away without you noticing too much. But you can override that with the sport paddles on the steering wheel. They change gear pretty quickly, as you can probably hear, but they can be a little bit jerky. There's a drive select mode where you can choose between normal, sport plus, track, and snow and wet. And in normal mode, it's very comfortable. It's proper Grand Tourer. You can just cruise around over bumpy, horrible scarred roads, and this thing stays composed and compliant. Pop it into Sport Plus and everything firms up a little, so it becomes a little bit bumpier, but the body roll is reduced. That drive select mode changes the stability control settings, the steering feel, the throttle response, and how long or quickly your automatic gearbox holds onto or shifts gears. Whilst the reputation of American handling coming over to Europe might precede the Mustang, it really shouldn't. It handles brilliantly, it stays very, very flat and in a lot of control. The car itself doesn't feel too heavy, the steering does, and does make it feel a little bit weightier than I think it is, but it does handle very impressively. Chuck it into a corner and the front end grips on well. It's keen to turn in, just don't put in too much throttle as the back end will step out on you very quickly. The steering itself's pretty consistent. It's generally quite weighty, and it doesn't offer too much feel, but it's going exactly where I want. So I don't feel that it's a poor system. I don't exactly want to complain, but it's certainly not got the feel and precision of something like a Porsche Boxer or a BMW 4 Series. This 5-litre version's fitted with a line lock system. Now, what that does is allow you to warm your tyres, or essentially perform a burnout. It locks the front wheels and allows you to spin up the rear without going anywhere. It's meant to be set for drag racing and track use to actually warm those tyres, but in reality it's just going to be used by kids in car parks. But I'm not that childish and wouldn't dream of doing it. Well, I'm performing a test, I need to show you how it works. Well, the Mustang really is everything you'd want it to be. It's loud, fast, and looks fantastic. What will surprise you is how well it handles and how comfy it is. So that 50-year wait has been well worth it. Check out the full review on the website. Do go to our YouTube channel and subscribe for free, and let us know what you think of the Mustang.